everybody. Did you ever have that uncle just kind of frighten everybody on a Christmas party when they say, these three guys walk into the bar and you know the joke is so bad, everybody's digging for carpet and nobody wants to be any around that weird uncle? Well, I happen to know that weird uncle. I happen to also know the other two podcasters that are three podcasters walking into a bar as one of those jokes. Welcome to the Three Podcasters Walk Into a Bar. My name's Stu Turley, President and CEO of the Sandstone Group. I've got David Blackmon. I mean, not only is he a David Blackmon, he is the David Blackmon with The Energy Question. It is a phenomenally popular podcast. He's also on the Energy Transition. He's also Forbes, Telegraph, world-renowned author, and Sean Connery stuntman. Welcome, David. I appreciate you.
Sean Connery stuntman. That's a new one.
I like that.
I had a lot of fun making Diamonds Are Forever back in 1970. That was awesome.
Yeah, I was the midget. The plane. Okay. All right. Hey, and we have RT on here. RT is a successful podcast host of the Crude Truth, but right now he's pretending to be a big dog over there at Pecos Operating, and he's out there pretending to be working in the oil patch with our podcast listeners. He's got an oil derrick in the background going, yeah, I'm pretending to work. You actually found that on the side of the road, didn't you?
Oh man, well, hello, gentlemen. It's good to see you guys, and anybody that was watching there at the beginning. That was actually again, I always tell people we're family business. Actually, my brother in the black background there for a second. There, we're out here in North Texas today getting some work done, and so we can't complain out here. It's a beautiful fall day as far as Texas is concerned, and man, what a wild wind it has been in the last week in the oil and gas industry, Stu. Well, I mean, what has been coming around the corner, as you would say?
I'll tell you what, it's parted both of my hairs. David, both of you guys, I'm seeing some stuff going off like crazy. David, I want to throw it to you. You got the first squirrel out of the box. What do you got?
Well, the first thing I want to know from RT is where is the big white windmill that's powering that pump jack? Is that thing running on electricity or natural gas?
I'm looking up in the horizon right now. And I don't see it, but I do have an electrical line back there somewhere that I do have electricity that is powering it, from which up here in North Texas, I'm sure is probably coal powered.
Probably coal or maybe natural gas, maybe. Anyway, well, yeah, we've had some interesting stories this week in the EV world. First one was the biggest charging station in America, Tesla charging station in America, that's located in the Central Valley of California, 98 charging stations out in front of a Shell gas station. Wow. Turns out that the backup power, first of all, the chargers themselves are powered mainly by the California grid, which in that part of the state is mostly natural gas powered generation. But the backup is several big diesel generators that are perched behind the gas station so no one can see them. that story really got a lot of traffic on LinkedIn and to my Substack. It really gets a lot of interest from people of what is happening in the EV space when you see these stories like the one that came out of Switzerland this morning. The Swiss government is preparing emergency plans for the winter because they know they're going to be short of electricity. They haven't built enough generating capacity to ensure their grid can get through the winter cold. So they're developed a contingency plan for when the grid inevitably gets to blackout condition. The emergency plan includes disallowing EV owners from driving their cars, so they won't be burdening the grid with recharging their batteries overnight.
Unless it's an emergency, right?
Unless it's a health emergency or some other kind of emergency, right?
Candy bars don't count.
Right, candy bars don't count, but it's just another indicator, folks, of this model of electric vehicles doesn't work. And I want to illustrate something for everyone. Keep in mind that what seems to be the state-of-the-art technology, the coming thing, right now, may not in 5 years, in fact, be the coming thing. In 1897, Rudolf Diesel, German engineer, introduced his fuel, the miracle fuel for transportation we now call diesel, after Rudolf Diesel. Prior to the introduction of diesel as a transportation fuel, the state-of-the-art automotive technology involved steam engine cars. The Stanley Steamer was one model that generated about a quarter horsepower of power that were fired by wood or coal in an automobile. Okay, that was the state-of-the-art technology. And within 5 years, no one was building those things. They immediately were off the market. So we cannot assume that the same thing isn't going to happen to electric vehicles. This energy transition, this brave new world we are embarked upon, is just in its early stages. We are not well down the road on this thing. So what seems to be state of the art today, the Tesla gigafactories and all that, 5 years from now may not even exist. And I think that's the lesson we're starting to learn with the EV industry right now.
You know, RT, do you think that Larry Fink, when he came out this past week and said there will be no energy transition, you think people are starting to wake up and their eyebrows are getting stapled to the carpet?
For him coming up and saying that, I mean, that I think there are some people that kind of are sweating a little bit now. I guess that's probably the best PG way to say it, and are a little nervous. And David, you know, I want to just jump back on what you just said about the way technology is moving. I actually never thought about that here, you know, we're all on a computer right now, and that computer is going to be obsolete in the next 6 to 12 months. So who would say that these continuously all these new technologies will be obsolete, and yet somehow the diesel engine the combustible engine has stood the test of time during this whole transition that they're now trying to do. So that's a very valid point. No, Fink coming out this week, Stu, and saying that really kind of got a lot of people a little worried about their ESG investments, but also during this transition, I think the fact that Saudi Arabia just partnered up with that large Australian company in the liquid natural gas industry, I think also has a lot of people concerned with this transition to these renewables and wind and solar. Because if Saudi Arabia is investing, that's now showing that Saudi Arabia also understands that natural gas is going to be the true transition energy source moving forward for probably the next 100 years or so. What do you guys think?
I agree, and those are great points. David, you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's absolutely right. Larry Fink's comments were really interesting, and they're just another part of everything that's happening in this transition space. Another thing that came out this week was a report from the Royal Society of Cambridge University in the UK. And they had conducted a new analysis of what is the best technology to answer the problem, the chronic issue that continues to linger, to supply backup storage capacity for renewable energy, wind and solar. And the finding in this study is that stationary battery technology cannot solve this problem, okay?
Right.
It cannot make wind and solar scalable at a societal level and replace oil, gas, coal, the nuclear. And so what are their answers? Well, the authors of the report first point to hydrogen storage, a completely experimental technology that's been tried a few times and doesn't really work too well. So it's just in its early stages of development. It'll be 50 years before hydrogen storage is really scalable in any real way. And then they say, well, that might not work, and it'd be very expensive if it does. And so, but there's another backup plan, and that is, guess what? Ammonia storage, which is even more idiotic idea and even more experimental and unproven. So, it's just, you have all of these. I think the point I want to make here is we're in a period of time now where all of the ridiculous, easily foreseen issues about renewables and electric vehicles and their scalability are beginning to bubble up to the surface, and the promoters of climate alarmism don't have any real answers for them. And so we're going to reach a crisis point probably sooner than I've even expected.
You know, RT and David, when we sit back and it's about numbers, people are NIMBYs when they don't want to see a wind farm in their backyard off of the East Coast, right? It's beautiful sunset and they don't want to have it interrupted. But when we sit back and take a look, it's now impacting the consumers and the insurance. David, I'm following on your article with the UK. I saw another article, the insurance. A guy had a Tesla in the UK. He went from £1,000 premium on his car to a £5,000 premium on his car. So insurance agencies are numbers driven, and you better believe that if the price is there. And then earlier this week, a shipping line banned EVs because of insurance. Insurance is now sticking in and going, oh, hey, I can't afford you. Whoops.
You guys know how the climate alarmists are going to respond to that, though, don't you? You know what their solution is going to be?
They're going to call insurance companies racist.
No, they're going, well, probably, but they're going to pressure politicians to force insurance companies to spread that increased risk, not just focus it on the EVs, which are the source of the problem. Right. They're going to try to pass regulations and laws that force the insurance companies to spread that increased risk across all of their customers' policies, so that even if you don't drive an EV, you're going to start sharing the cost of that increased risk. That's always the answer for these social planners that are trying to force these things. So, you know,
that's something we need to keep an eye on, then, David. Yeah, and you, with the background that you have, you fought for Texas and the oil and gas industry for many years. That'd be something, I think, just fighting for the everyday American. If those regulations ever make it that way. And you talk about the spread or the rate increase. They are really turning these electric vehicles into a upper class vehicle that only the wealthy and affluent can afford them. And one other point I want to make on that is the new Ford F-150 Lightning commercial that I saw this past week. Here we are at the beginning of October. And there is a Ford F-150 pulling about a 20-foot vintage Chris Craft boat. Now, awesome. I don't know if anybody knows anything about boats or Chris Craft and these wood boats, but those things are probably going for a 20-foot vintage wood Chris Craft boat, $250,000, and it's being pulled by $100,000 electric vehicles. They are purposely positioning and marketing to the affluent, which then gets rid of all the little guys, and we'll be on public transportation in the next 30 years.
What's your problem?
Yeah, I mean, as long as you don't have to go more than 80 miles, you're fine, right? Yeah. Before you run out of charge.
And the other funny thing is, RT, is that boat is extremely heavy.
Oh,
that's heavy. The range, and I don't think it runs on electric. And let's talk about that also. I don't think that the classic Chris Craft runs on electric.
They don't make it that way.
And they definitely make some good boats. I will say that about Chris Craft, just in case they want to be a sponsor of the three podcasts.
Speaking of that, I'm excited about our West Texas gig coming up. RT, tell us about that.
Yes, I'm very excited. We will be out at the Permian Basin International Oil Show October 17th and 18th. We will be having special guests on. We're still working on our list, but we will have special guests on between the afternoon of the 17th and the morning of the 18th. And we'll finish it off with a live recording of three podcasters walking to the bar there Wednesday morning. We're going to be live on the show floor at the Air Compressor Solutions booth. It's going to be one of those big 40 by 40 booths. So we're going to be there. Shout out to the sponsor of the Crude Truth, Air Compressor Solutions, for putting us up. But no, I'm just so excited to get David Blackmon, get you out there, and to all our listeners out there. If y'all are going to be there and y'all would love to be on either one of our shows while we're out there, or even three podcasters, please reach out to us, or the Sandstone Group, and we can accommodate you guys.
Now that I got my road gear and all my mics done, you guys are not going to have to shoot me in front of the bar, and I actually got the gear working good, so it'll make me look good.
Yeah, the last time we were there, it worked perfect.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. But I'll tell you what, it's fun having a road bag for podcasts. You got to love it.
And also, I'm going to be, I think this is confirmed, that I'm going to be the special guest host at this month's Midland Oil and Gas Workers Association luncheon. And
nice.
So I'm kind of excited.
You're not the main course, are you?
No, just a guest host. No, not to make a. No, the president at Latigo Petroleum is going to be speaking. And so pretty cool stuff there.
And we've got some announcements coming out, guys. We have NAPE coming up. With NAPE, we have a lot of encouraging things coming around the corner. The Sandstone Group's putting together a bunch of stuff, so we want all of that. David and RT and I are going to have a blast at NAPE. You want to just give a quick shout out, and then we're going to rumble on to next week?
I love it. Yeah, shout out to the NAPE Expo, NAPE, where deals happen, right, David? Is that what they say?
Absolutely. And,
I'm excited. We'll be there for all 3 days. Be able to host a lot of different people and do several interviews. And again, same thing. Hopefully, be able to do an episode of three podcasters from the NAPE floor. And that is February 7th through the 9th. And I'll do my shameless plug for NAPE, that if you haven't registered, register today. NAPE Expo, where deals happen.
Hey, I'm also finding out, David, that both of your shows are being nominated for some awards, and I'm going to keep you posted.
What?
What?
Congratulations!
Yeah, we've got them nominated in there, and I guarantee you it's going to be fun. You guys are getting some traction.
Well, I just can't wait to make my acceptance speech, man. It'll be awesome.
Oh, by the way, David, on LinkedIn the other day, we don't joke around too much, but an insurance lady named Erin did a post about deep breaths, and I said, "Hey, David, you do that every time Stu talks," and then David, you go, "Yep, sure do," and I just thought that was hilarious.
Did you say deep breast or breath?
Breath.
Oh, well, both,
Okay. With that, we're going to go around the horn. David, what's your last word for today?
Hook 'em horns.
Nice.
BOU. That's my last word for the day.
I'm going to give Steve Reese a shout out. I'm going to take Texas. Okay. RT, how about you?
I'm going to have to go with the Go Frogs. And,
okay.
We'll go with the Frogs this week. I got them winning by 3.
Yeah, I'm an OSU kind of guy, and it's mind over matter. I don't mind because I don't matter. All right. With that, guys, this is the three podcasters walking into the bar. For David Blackmon, RT Trevillon, I'm Stu Turley, and we will see you guys next week. Thanks.